Hey everyone, welcome back to But Why Though Reviews. And today, But Why Though is reviewing John Wick Chapter 4. As always, I'm Kate Sanchez, the editor-in-chief and head of the film area over at But Why Though. And I'm here with my co-founder, Matt.
Hello.
And I'm excited to talk about the world's best dog dad.
Yes.
So, if you are not familiar with John Wick, I'm sorry, please go watch them. They're amazing. And there are four of them out now. The synopsis is pretty simple. John Wick, played by Keanu Reeves, uncovers a path to defeating the High Table. But before he can earn his freedom, Wick must face off against a new enemy with powerful alliances across the globe that forces that turn old friends to foes. It's directed by Chad Stahelski, like the other films. This is the first one not written by Derek Kolstad. Instead, it is written by Shay Hatton and Michael Finch. And of course, it stars Keanu Reeves, Donnie Yen, Lance Reddick, Ian McShane, Lawrence Fishburne, Bill Skarsgård, Rina Sawayama, Hiroyuki Sanada, Shamir Anderson, Clancy Brown, Amy Kwan, Mark. There's a bunch. It's a lot. It's a who's who of people with really great voices and really dope action skills. And I don't think you can get better than that. Matt, what were your expectations coming into the film?
Well, obviously, I was excited for it. I've watched the other three. I enjoy the other three. It's definitely been one of my favorite, I guess, quote unquote, franchises at this point, because everything we are. So no, I mean, I didn't know where they were gonna go with it. I mean, we kind of knew something because of obviously the way the last one ended, but no, I mean, I was excited for it. I mean, what else? I mean, I love the action of these movies. John Wick's gonna kill a lot of people. It's gonna be very violent, and that's why I show up.
Yes. It's yes to all of that. I mean, like I've said it in like my other reviews of the other John Wicks, and there have been like Keanu Reeves has been at the center of two defining moments of Western action, and that is The Matrix and that is the John Wick series. And I think this film, like when it came to this one, I was just excited for more. I think it's the longest runtime out of all of them.
Yes.
And the cast was amazing. Particularly my excitement for chapter 4 came from Donnie Yen's inclusion because that man is phenomenal. But I guess going into this, Matt, like we usually center these things around the good, what it could improve and whether folks could watch it, but I feel like there's a lot of good to talk about here. What did you feel walking out of the film?
Hey, this movie is 100 million times better than The Matrix 4. Um, so it did that. I mean, that bar was very, very low, but it did cross that threshold. But no, this movie is phenomenal. I love this movie. This is probably one of the best movies I've seen since probably Mission Impossible Fallout. And to be
Yeah.
fair, it's also, to be honest, it reminds me a lot of Ghost Protocol in a weird way because that's the fourth movie of the Mission Impossible series, and that's like not that John Wick 3 was bad. Mission Impossible 3 was also really good. It kind of comes back, you had some ups, had some downs, but then the fourth one with Protocol really set the people start paying attention to this movie
Yeah.
and like to this franchise. They're like, oh my gosh, this is like really good and like and to be fair, all the fourths of most franchises they go downhill because things are
Yeah.
tried to design to be trilogies. And so I mean, like we said, we kind of knew what they were doing, but we were also like, I don't know, the fourth movie, a lot of stuff is bad, like The Matrix. And so like it reminds me of that because this one, like, I think it's by far the best John Wick, and I don't think it's even close at this
Yeah,
point.
I completely agree. Like I don't think that I have seen a fourth movie that completely changes kind of like the axis that the franchise is sitting on. I think
Once again,
Maybe Bride of
protocols.
Chucky, like not in the action scene, but Bride of Chucky does
No,
that where it kind of just redefines what that entire franchise is.
well, I mean,
And
Protocol does the exact same
yeah,
thing
yeah,
for a
that's
thing. That's
fair.
why I was like, it very much reminds me of that, of like,
Yeah.
we're gonna keep going, but like
It's
that resets and like, oh my gosh.
Well, and I think like what I love about it particularly is because the first film is really tight in storytelling. You don't have a lot happening as man gets revenge for his dog, best dog dad ever. The second one is kind of in between that, trying to be quick, trying to expand the world. And the third one is where you really see them go into like the full world building piece. But this one is like all of kind of like the meanness and the action scenes from the first one and like more world building. But Chad Stileski does something amazing in that he trusts his audience and doesn't over explain what is happening. And I think that that kind of, for me, where it kind of flips the franchise is that you get a full understanding of how the world operates, I think, better than you have in any of the other films. And you don't do it through talking. Like, we're introduced to a slew of new characters. And the first, like the two largest for me is the tracker, who introduces himself as nobody, and then Kane. It's Shamir Anderson and Donnie Yen's characters. And I think what this film does differently from the past John Wick films is that they have a real presence, and you can tell that they're characters that they want to keep around, and they do it by giving you emotion and background, like little by little, through the action details, which I don't think nowadays we don't get, especially American directors that trust the audience to just pick up on, oh yeah, the dog is important. Oh, he chose to do X instead of Y. This is how you form a character.
No, like, and I mean that's been something we've talked about in the other John Wick review too, of just like they don't need a lot of dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, and I mean, like I said, I don't need a lot of dialogue. At this point, dialogue is terrible in a lot of movies, and I don't know whether we have fully embraced AI writing scripts at this point or people have just gotten bad, but like dialogue's been very bad. And so like, but that doesn't say we dialogue in some movies is not unnecessary, but like the way they do it in these movies, it's totally purposeful. And it does a lot of, like you said, the showing of like,
Yeah.
we're going to show this story. We're going to tell the story through violence, through action, through motion, and it works just fantastic.
And it's a different skill too. Like an actor being able to
Yes.
sell a script, like sell dialogue, versus an actor being able to use their face, use the way they look down when they walk. Like that is a different type of transformation that I think it's why I love the action genre.
Yeah. It's yeah. Cut.
No, like so for you, so like that's obviously like one of my favorite things about the film. What's one of the real big standouts for you? Whether in regards to the rest of the franchise or that this film
Uh
does really well.
I mean, one, the film just keeps going. Like it is just literally nonstop for 3 hours. You are just constantly killing people over
And it
and
doesn't feel like
over.
it. It
No, it does
doesn't
not feel
feel
like a
like
3 hour
it.
movie. It is just we're just killing people the entire time. It's absurd, but like it doesn't go. And I think what made it does, because obviously it's clearly not grounded, but they've also like embraced of like we're not over the top dumb necessarily. We have our little
Yeah.
bit of
It's
moments.
not campy action.
No, it's not, and it's very like you can understand, and it's grounded in what the universe has set. Like
Mm-hmm.
the suits are body armor. Like get used to it. That's what they've set. That's how they do it. They fight with suits. It's gung kung fu as we've said from the beginning, and they've embraced it. And while is that kind of, you can argue, well, that's not really realistic. I don't know, but within the
It
groundwork
works
of what,
within the world.
yeah, what's in the world and the physics and what they've given their characters of like you wear the nicest suits imaginable, and they are based and they are literally body Kevlar body armor. That's what you do, and it works great and it doesn't like I don't think there's that much disbelief. Obviously, there's some because every movie, but like overall, it's not like this. Oh, this is just totally dumb and like takes you out of it because this makes literally no sense.
Yeah. And I think that that's a nice balance because there is a beauty with especially like East Asian action films and Asian action films in general, where there is kind of a balance between maintaining the brutality of the violence but also allowing the audience some moments of levity through usually situational comedy, which is happening with the body, which I think this film does really well because it you see some moments where like Keanu's just tired. He's exhausted. He doesn't want to keep fighting right now, but he has to. And then you have other people, whereas Donnie Yen's character Kane, I think, is really, he kind of embodies that um uh kind of like he doesn't care. He's more jokey. He doesn't want to be there. He's there because he signed a contract, but he's gonna eat noodles before he kicks your ass. And I think that like there are those smart choices in having the humor and the levity contained to characters as an identity. Like this is how that person views the world, that allows the film to both keep the gas pedal to the floor and also pace it in a way where it's not just headshot, 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 headshot. And I think that that diversity of action is what really makes this film thrive for that 3 hour length.
Well, even going a little bit back to the dialogue, 'cause I think of like Clancy Brown's character says like maybe 5 lines,
The
but also has,
Harbinger. Don't know what the Harbinger does, but I know
doesn't
he's
matter.
cool.
Doesn't matter. He says like 5 lines this entire movie, but he says like probably one of the best lines of the entire movie. But it's all that matters. Like you get the presence, like you said, of the walk and the stature, and then like when dialogue is said of like it means something, and then with between all the body cues and
Yeah.
everything, the way they rotate, and obviously I'm not gonna lie, some of the camera work in here, like
The
action
camera work
wise,
is phenomenal.
is
Like
some of the best I've seen. Like I'm not gonna lie, probably has at least one of the best, like I guess, action scenes I've seen in like my life.
well, and I'll call it out because like I wrote it in my review. Like it's actually like I would say the best use of a video game mechanic, like brought to life in general. It's a top-down shot of a fight scene where you see John Wick moving through different rooms. The walls like create the lines to obscure your vision, and like it is like Chad Stileski, like he went off in a way that he was like, I know you know that I understand the body, but also know that I understand the body in relation to the rest of this really beautiful set that I created.
It's lovely because it's basically it shows this awesome situational awareness of like the
Yeah,
awareness of all of your surroundings, and it's just so beautifully well done. Like I could probably watch that on a loop like every
yeah,
day to wake up and feel great.
yeah. And I think what Stileski has done for American action is he's really highlighted that you can make something beautiful and make something violent in a way that I don't think we usually get. Like, I think one of the other really, really cool scenes is I don't want to say the opening, but one of the first large fight sequences in Osaka, in the Continental in Osaka. And we get to see like the amazing Hiroyuki Sanada like go off against Donnie Yen, but also the lead up to that fight it's all situational. You're using the building, you're using the space, like everything is coming to life, and all of it, I think the way I wrote it in my review is like every piece is curated, and Stileski and his actors and his stunt actors know exactly where their bodies need to be, which is it's a depth that I don't think we get in other genres.
I'm telling you, I know it's weird, but the only other thing I think of, I do think of Mission Impossible of what they do with a
No,
lot of
you're
stuff,
right. Like
and
that,
like
it's the
whether it's
same type of
they do
care.
the yes they do, and just whether it's just the stunt work they put into this movie, whether it's just the action they have, the use of dialogue, it's
Yeah.
like how it's worked, the body language of how it's filmed, like Keanu, and that's even we've even got it down of like, look, we know we love Tom Cruise running, we now know we love Keanu walking through the streets
I
of
just need him walk, and he's not. It's not even just like a regular walk.
no, it's not.
It's like a disheveled, exhausted walk in a suit in a really pretty place. Like that is just what it is, and I want more of it. And I think so. I don't really have any negatives to the film personally. The score is on point. Like it rushes it. Like the score keeps pace with every action moment in a beautiful way. The set designs, the suits, oh my god, like anytime they introduced a new suit, I like audibly said in the theater the suit, because of how beautifully designed the costuming is here. So but I do want to take a moment to say Bill Skarsgård as a villain, oh my god, he was good.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he played a clown, but you know,
Well, yeah, yeah, he did. But this
just
is better. Well, because I think so. I think that like there are differences. Like there are like the maniacal villains that you get, and we've seen in John Wick before, kind of the mustache twirly, those type of guys. And then you have the Marquis in this film, who is playing somebody who, as much as he hates John Wick because he wants power. And he doesn't see himself as necessarily like beholden to the high tables rules. And so, what I really like about it is you actually get a situation where the rules aren't defined on either side. John Wick is going to kill whoever he can, and the Marquis is going to try to do whatever he can to kill John Wick. And I think that balance between the two characters is what makes the finale so good. It's kind of no restraint for the entire runtime from both sides.
yeah. I mean, I'm with you. Of like, I don't have much negativity to say about this movie. I love this movie. I don't know if it's the best movie I've ever seen, but it's definitely in the top five
Yeah.
off top of my head for sure. And obviously, we even took a few days to like think about this, to sit on it. Like, hey, let's make sure we don't have any of this. Like, we came out of the movie theater thing, and I'm like, no, I could probably go watch this again. And I
Yeah.
don't even watch movies in movie theaters twice.
Yeah.
But at this
I
point, the only thing I feel like, I mean, definitely, leaps and bounds the best movie I've seen this year. I know it's only
Yeah.
March, but I don't know. Tom Cruise
I
jumped off a
I think
cliff. We'll see if he can top it. That's
so
about all we
far as
got.
American action, I think that the only good entries we have had at American action films, and I will stand by this, is the Mission Impossible recent series and the John Wick series. And I think Fallout was the best of that. Obviously, Dead Reckoning's coming, but I think Chapter 4, like I think they're two very different action types of action
Yes,
films. So
absolutely.
like they kind of hold their own space. And I think John Wick Chapter 4 is it's weird because like chapter 3 was a really big love letter to all of these moments in action cinema, in kung fu cinema, in that you could tell that like Stileski was like, I want my chance to do this, like I want my chance to do a scene from The Raid, I want my chance to, you know, kind of embody that. And in chapter 4, I think you see his growth as a director where you see some callbacks to some iconic moments in like different action histories. But chapter 4 is like, no, like this man just decided to go in his own direction. And I think finally we have a John Wick film, and what makes it so good, that has things we haven't seen before. I think all of it fits into the larger landscape, but I think that it's going to be a defining moment for this type of action cinema. And I think that it's the first American film that has come out that I think can directly compete with the action greats that come out of Asia.
Yeah, no, I disagree. No,
So,
like I said, I guess if there's anything, I don't know what they're gonna do from here because, like I said, this one kind of not
yeah.
just the general ending, but like we knew you can't just keep having John Wick on the run for like 8 movies. I mean, I would be there to watch it for eight
Yeah.
movies. I don't care how many people he kills, but I don't know if you could sell that for it. But obviously, I know we have other. Excuse me, we have like a spin-off and some other stuff coming. And to be honest, I don't know how well that's going to sell to your general audience of
Yeah.
stuff.
It's
But
I
I
think it's
mean,
called The Ballerina.
you have the ballerina. I wouldn't be surprised if we get something else. I wouldn't be surprised if we have another John Wick in 3 years
Yeah.
at this
Well,
point.
and it's hard because like I think what comes next, like I think you're right. Like I don't know how you do a John Wick 5 given the ending of the film, but like I want to see more of Kane, and I want to see more of Nobody, and I want to see more of Akira. Um I just don't know how you package that in a way that doesn't feel derivative
Yes,
and doesn't, because and I think that like those actors themselves and the characters that they
they're
put on
great, but at
screen
the end
is
of the day, this the,
amazing.
the franchise is called John Wick.
Yeah, and
It's
that's
not
the
called
hard
Kane. It's
thing.
not called anybody. It's called
Yeah,
John
well,
Wick.
and that's the hard thing. It's like I would love to see them in more stuff, but also how do you do it in a way that doesn't feel like you're kind of gassing out your franchise? Because I'm worried, like I'm gonna show up to the ballerina. I like Ana de Armas. I've liked Ana de Armas in action movies, and I'm really intrigued because it's the focus of like the Russian part that John Wick came out of. But I kind of like I just don't know. Like I don't want it to hit the I don't think it is there yet, but I don't want it to become the MCU problem that is starting to plague so many IPs right now, where it gets too big, too fast, and too much, and then you burn out the greatness that it had. That's my only fear. And
What's
that's
the thing?
not
Because I
in
mean,
this
I
movie,
well,
but
no, it is definitely not, and that's obviously as we kind of talk about. This is probably like moving forward because, like I said, the only thing is like this movie wrapped up and packaged phenomenal, but
mm-hmm.
sadly, we live in a world where we world build because we have to make more money and keep doing this over and over and over because
Yeah.
we don't have any more creative ideas. We just have to whatever. But I don't know what you're going to do with this because, like, for me, I love all the world. I love seeing these characters. I wouldn't mind seeing them again. But in the day of, like I said, I'm like, I don't know how much I'm coming. It's John Wick. I want to go see Keanu Reeves. You
Yeah.
know, I love even the other movies, like just giving him random old friends to come through and play. I thought was just great.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens next. I It's hard because my next question was gonna be like, do you want more of John Wick? Like, do you want more of Keanu and Stileski like as a
Yes,
team? Okay.
absolutely yes. I mean, I want more of this genre because I mean,
Yeah.
obviously we're getting Nobody too, which I'm excited. I think the
Derek
studio,
Kolstad, shout out to you.
yes, they're making. They obviously have the studio. They're also making the Norwegian movie, French movie, Sisu.
Sisu, that's Norwegian,
Sisu,
I believe.
Norwegian, yeah, which is basically looks like basically the we're gonna go kill a bunch of Nazis like John Wick type movie. Like I want this genre. I love this violent, like very action based, like, and also like stepping up the game. Like I'm not gonna lie, if I watch another Snake Eyes looking movie, I'm gonna cry. Like I feel
Give
bad for
us
that movie.
actual blood.
I hate that movie so much, and as I see more of these, I hate it even more. You do not get chains with no blood. How dare you? That's an
Yeah.
insult.
It
But
was an
anyways,
insult to Tony Jaa as well. Like you
yes,
don't, yeah.
but no, like I love, and honestly, it looks like we're seeing some of this stuff of like these actors, whether old, young, upcoming, whatever. It looks like they're trying to put in more work
Yeah,
to like
they want to be
yeah,
heroes. Like they
yeah, they
want to be
want to do this stuff.
heroes as in like the action star. Like they
Yeah,
want that.
yeah, I want it back. Like, and I
Yeah.
enjoy like, especially like I said, you add in the hyper violent stuff we're getting,
Yeah.
and I'm enjoying it. Like, I don't care. Just start giving people franchise. I don't, because like I said, I don't care if you do a franchise, but like the way we do it, like Michael B. Jordan can get Rainbow Six. Give it to me. I'm here.
Dude, like Michael B. Jordan getting tapped for a Tom Clancy
Yeah, give
franchise.
it to me. John,
That's
even
all
John
I want.
Krasinski's Jack Ryan. I was here for it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Obviously those are different little genres of stuff, but like we talked about the thing of like this one gives me more violence. Tom Cruise gives me more spy. I'm
Yeah.
here for both of them.
Well, and I think that like they're like the assassin genre, like that the
Yes.
assassin is a very specific trope in action film, and like we see it throughout Japanese and Korean like action cinema in a
And they're still
way
doing
that is
great
like
there.
so good. Like I think like one of the most recent ones that's coming to Netflix soon is Kill Buck Soon, and like that is another like hitman story, and like they're good, but they have to be brutal. And I don't think that like Americans do spy thriller action well, they don't usually do Hitman well. And this one does Hitman well. Like as a franchise. And I can't wait to see like that. I can't wait to see more films succeed like the John Wick series, if only because that will mean that people have finally started accepting that your fight choreography does not need to be jump cutted to hell. Your fight choreography can stand in place of dialogue, and you can trust your actors to do more than just stand on a green screen. And I think that all of those things is why Stilisky succeeds in chapter 4. And like it's kind of just a wrap up, is because he trusts his actors, he trusts his audience, and he's just there to make an exciting action movie and like build a world that you want to jump into. And I think he succeeds. Do you have any last thoughts for chapter 4?
No, I mean it's fantastic. Everybody should go see this. Probably wouldn't be surprised if we go see this again. I want, like I said, I want more types of these movies. I love violence can be a storyteller. I'm sorry.
Yep.
You can use motion, you can use body language, you can use stuff. I
And
don't
you can
need a
even use like
monologue.
if you have heavy violence, I don't think people understand that if your character who is killing everybody chooses not to kill somebody, that is a very big
Yes.
storyteller marker for who that character is and who they think the other character is. And that
And it just,
happens in this movie in a big way that I
I mean, the
think is
whole
just
franchise has been about like just this general respect, general rules, even killing. It's not, and like I said, that's the thing. Like, it's just not completely nonsensical violence of stuff. There's purpose for what they're doing. There's a mission. There's this. There's like
yeah.
respect, and it's just, I don't know. I'm here for more of it. I don't care if we get body counts of 200. I don't think. I mean, civilian kill people in this unintentionally.
Oh, yeah.
So many. The amount of people
I
coming home going, "Hey, honey, I killed three assassins tonight. Didn't mean
so
to."
I will say I think that the only problem if we take away like the additional franchise pieces is if they do a John Wick 5, I don't know how you do something bigger than the things that we got in this one, because it kind of upped the ante on everything. We've gotten continental fight scenes before, this upped it. We've gotten club rave fight scenes before, this upped it. And
Well, I mean, obviously,
yeah,
and I guess for me, the big thing, like we talk about upping it, the use of like civilian background
yeah,
people and everything. That's something that we've seen being lacking in a lot of movies of like everything weird. We take like we're fighting in a giant city, but like we don't see anybody, and it gets
yeah.
weird. Like I don't know how people have ever noticed that from a lot of these new movies of like, wow, we blew up New York, but amazingly nobody
There's
went
zero
down.
collateral damage.
Zero damage, zero anything. Just building fell over. Happy go lucky. Everybody was on vacation for some reason. Not in this movie. Like
Yeah.
everybody, like people were involved. People were there and stuff. And I think they do a very good job of that. Which goes back to the
Um,
situational awareness of situationals of everything.
yeah. So Matt, should people go see John Wick
I've
Chapter
already said it
4?
like 20 times. Yes, let's get out of here. We've already over time. They don't need to hear anything more. Just go watch the damn movie
I
and then prep for
concur.
Tom Cruise.
I concur. You can find our full review, my full review. It's actually a 10 out of 10. I think it's my one of the first ones of the year. It's phenomenal at butwhythough.net. It's also linked in the description of this video. I point to it, right? And you can find me at Oma with Randy or on Twitter and Instagram. Matt, where can the adoring public find you?
Back in the theater watching this movie again.
And you can find us at But Why Though PC on every social media outlet, and of course at butwhythough.net for all of our coverage. So yeah,
Are we supposed to
go
say
watch
like and
John Wick.
subscribe and
Oh
like do
yeah,
the bell
like,
thingy?
subscribe, hit the bell, get
Damn it, we're
notifications.
too old now.
We are. Go watch John Wick.